So, no editing, no nothing. I'm just shooting this morning because I've been reading some stuff on the internet that, not boiling my wee, but I think it's an education thing, because I'm seeing an awful lot going on about what you've seen in the title, which is the Yamaha TPS and ECU recall. And really what I'm reading online, I think it's just a bit of a lack of education. So I thought I'm going to take 5-10 minutes just to go through a few things with the customers out there that happen to be affected by this Yamaha TPS recall. There may be some stummers and statters along the way, so you even got that wrong, on purpose obviously. Just go with it, because I'm going to answer a lot of questions for you. And of course, if there's anything I haven't covered, whack it in the comments section. So, firstly, TPS and ECU recall. What are they doing? Well, they're changing the TPS, but they're also reflashing your ECU. They're doing that because there's some fundamental changes that have to happen in the architecture of it on how it operates the throttle. So this is not the map pages, if you like, that we can see and get access to. It's the underlying data of how to operate the bike. By doing that, they will wipe anything that's on here. So if you've had your bike flashed already, that is going to be lost. Simple as that. One bonus to that is that we have now compared an original file with a recall file, and bar some very, very, very small changes, and I'm talking minute. Those fuel map tables are the same, which in principle means we can take your old fuel tables and build you a new map file for your ECU if you've had your product tuned with us. And if that's the case, contact us, we'll go you through what needs to be done, how to go about it, and any costs involved. But there's the thing, a new map file. So I saw a comment yesterday, and someone was saying basically they've got their bike in the tuner after the TPS recall, and Woolwich can't read it. And I don't know if it was a dig at the tuner or at Woolwich, or not a dig at all, but that's the point. It's not that they can't read it, it's that it's a new file number. And that's where I want to educate you all on how we go about mapping these bikes. And this bike is a great one. It's had an update, but I'm not sure if it's had the main update. And there's a reason for that. So, got the bike here on the dyno. I'm going to be mapping that in a minute. I've got the ECU out. And you'll see here, there's a number on it. Now that number is just simply a part number for the ECU. And in this case, it ends in a 00. So what I would do is I would go onto my software and pick up Yamaha MT09 SP, blah, 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 00. Or do I? Well, the answer to that is no. Because as we know, these get updated. Not often. They're not like Jaquets that seem to update every single bloody service. But they do get updated. So what's on here might not be in there. And there's the key. So what we need to do is ID the ECU. So I've got all this rigged up. So basically, if we come down here and have a little look at the computer, and this is the other side of things. So this is an MT09 SP, and you can see between 21 and 23, all of these part numbers are all for this bike. So when you were talking about an ECU update, let's just say you had a 00. What would happen is they'd update it perhaps to 01, perhaps to 02, then to 03. Now I know that 03 is new. That is a TPS recall one. That's why I don't think this bike's got it, but I'll come to that. So what we need to do is ID the ECU, and we do that using the software. So in here, basically, if we have a little look, we can see lots of part numbers. Now these are all ECUs to do with the MT09 SP. As you can see here, MT09 SP, ECU numbers. Now you can see that's a 00, which tallies with the ECU that we've got on the bike. But like I say, does it? So what I will do is I would open a 00 file. I would then read the part number out of it. It gives me a little instruction on what to do. And we'll wait. And we'll wait. We'll go sunbathing. Ah, there it is. 01. So this is an 01. But that is a 00. So I would have mapped with the wrong file. because at some point that's been updated. So back to the TPS ECU recall. You can see that one model over 2 years has a massive list. So when this update's being done, Woolwich need to get that file, and the only way they get it is by sending this ECU in to Woolwich Racing here in the UK. And then it gets even more complicated. But the point being is, for every bike, MT09, MT09 SP, Tracer, Tracer GT, MT10, everything, all those part numbers, all those ECUs, that data needs to be extracted so we can go into this system so we can use it to tune your bike. But what's involved in that? That surely you just send it in and they plug it in. No. If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. And I've got some information here that was sent to me, and it actually found it quite staggering. So to do one ECU, basically 2 holes made in the ECU. There's electrical resin in there. That needs to be melted out. Then 11 different wires need to be soldered under a magnifying glass. And then the ECU has to be read out 3 times. Basically, that's to the map area, the bootloader, and the EEPROM. And in one of them, the EEPROM reads didn't match. So obviously that needs to be accurate. So we reread those an additional 3 times to make sure that everything matched. And then at that stage, it needs to be buttoned back up, sent back to the tuner stroke customer. And then that data has to be analysed and created into this Woolwich bin file. Gets sent to Australia, who then put it on the computer system. So if you happen to be the person that has an MT10 SP 2022 and it isn't in the computer and you're the one that wants to donate your ECU to make it work, that's weeks. That's not the work of a day. And unfortunately, it's not the tuner's fault, it's not the Woolwich's fault that if you turn up to have a map put back on or turn up for just from general mapping and that file number isn't recognised in the computer system, it's simply because no one's had one yet. No one's seen that. No one's put that into the system. So yes, you become the guinea pig if you want to be, but that's also a couple of weeks worth of work. It's not our fault. It's not Woolwich's fault. Is it Yamaha's fault? Yes, but no, because that's their ECU, that's their equipment, and any aftermarket tuning is done exclusive to them. So can't even say it's them. It's just unfortunate. It's just unlucky. I think we're in a very Amazon world. Want everything today. Want everything tomorrow. And sometimes it just has to wait. It stresses us all out because we all want to do it. You know, mapping these, that's our income. That's our living. I want to be able to do this for you. And I want to be able to do the best job for you that I can do. But at the end of the day, sometimes we've got to wait. So this isn't just a small little blip, a small little, let's put a TPS and send your bike back in. The moment they rewrite this control unit, it basically starts the whole process. And yes, there'll be a few weeks of pain, maybe a couple of months of pain. But soon enough, all of those updated ECU numbers will be in that computer system, and then we can crack on and map your bike. So really, that's a bit of an overview on what's happening, why it's happening, and what people are doing to resolve it. And tuners all over the country, me included, have been sending ECUs in for inclusion into the software so we can carry on and map these fantastic bikes for you. I know I said I wasn't going to edit it, but I am, because I'm adding this, because I've just done all of that and then had some questions and given to me. Someone didn't know the answer to them, which made me think I haven't made that perfectly clear. So let's make this clear. If you have had your bike mapped here, at Parkit, and you're worried about what it's going to cost or what's going to happen to put your map back on, this answers that. Can I put your old map back on your bike? No, I can't, because that's written in a different map number, and we've just covered all of that about map numbers. But what I can do, and I've sort of mentioned and touched upon it there, is the fuel tables are near identical on the recall and your old one. Because of that, I'm quite happy to be able to take your fuel data off that map file and build you a new map file around your ECU data. So in essence, you haven't got to have your bike remapped. Now, as I'm writing this, as I'm telling you this, I've not done one yet. So in that respect, I can't say 100% if they transfer perfectly. But in reality, I can't see why they wouldn't. If that's the case, then yes, you're going to need more dyno time. But I do think they will transfer. Obviously, we've got to build other elements of the map, but we will copy and paste your fuel tables from your previous one over. So essentially, we can put a map back on your bike, just not the original map file. It's not a case of you riding in, plugging in the computer, 5 minutes. So we're saying literally book in for an hour's slot or post your ECU in, and we will rebuild you a map file to put back onto your bike. Obviously, in the meantime, if you have taken certain things off your bike, yes, you are going to get error lights on your bike because Yamaha are putting that bike back to standard. And yes, that is going to lock your modes. So obviously I get that this is something that people are going to want to do really quickly. From our point of view, the most efficient way will be to post it to us because we can do that in between jobs. Obviously, if you need an hour of our time in the workshop, then unfortunately we will have to fit that in around our existing diary commitments. But this little add-on, hopefully that just gives a little bit more clarity. Financially, yes, unfortunately, there is going to be a small charge because we have to do it. And you're looking at approximately £80, £90 to do that. And that is obviously taking your old map file, building your new one and putting it back on the bike, clearing all your error codes. There we go. That's for you. Like I say, if you've got any questions, pop them in the comment section and I'll do my best to get back to you.